Mike Draco in the house. Oh, it's so good to be here. We're almost late for even the countdown. Jesus, that's terrible. Lisa Ballard, Rob Nussbaum, happy Father's Day, everyone. Yes, happy Father's Day, even to you mothers out there. Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your host this evening, along with my cohorts in crime. We're going to take you through 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. It's time for Shop Talk. Sunday. Shop Talk going live in 4 minutes. Stick around. Make sure you hit the like and share button. Throw your hometown name up so we can give you a shout out. Welcome to Shop Talk. London Boo from Yakima, Washington. Good to see you here, Steve Henderson. Big D checking in from Marengo, Illinois. Lindsay Haletta. Russ Journey, Kearney, Nebraska. Walt Lumpkin. Nancy Weems in the house. All our friends are here tonight. Mike Draco representing Cincinnati. It's good to see all you guys, man. The parking lot's filling up. It's going to be a great show tonight. Poppy's in the house from Detroit. Keeping it real. Nancy Weems down in Tampa. We got two killer guests tonight. Tons of stuff going on in the shop to talk about. Some products. Kenny Sweeney heading to Maggie Valley. Make sure you stop into Wilster Time, man. Gonna be a great show tonight. That was my point. That's what I was trying to get to. In a roundabout fashion. The way we do. You know, ish. I'm directly there, ish, kinda. Stick around. We're going live in 2.5. Hey, who else but me is glad that the event season is underway and that there's motorcycle events aplenty. I don't even know how else to say that. Plenty of motorcycle events going on. And man, I couldn't be happier because damn, it was getting hard to just come up with bullshit to write about what we do here, because all we do is argue and bust balls a lot. Sasha Cycles, what's up, buddy? Did somebody say shovelheads? That's right, we're going to be talking shovelheads tonight. Just a minute and a half out. Greg White, Gus with us here tonight. Jay Rogers with us. Joey Weeks, Watertown, New York. So good to see everybody. Monique, Detroit, checking in. Steve Burrows, you got competition up there in D-Town. Okay, now that we got the sound effects dialed in. Bill Stevens is here with us. Good to see you, man. 50 seconds, and we're going live with this one. I can't wait. Sunday is my favorite night of the week. We get to wrap all this stuff up. It's been a hell of a week here in the Grease and Gears Garage. We got a lot going on. I know you guys too, and you got it going on. Pretty soon we're all on the road heading out to events. Larry, good to see you here. Westminster, Maryland, checking in. All right, man. I guess 23 seconds is close enough that we can get this one out of the station, up onto the tracks, and go live with this week's installment of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is just after 9. I'm not even going to mention how far after 9 it is because, Jesus, are we late. Somebody real quick was saying, I think Ashley was saying no picture, but I checked the feed and everything's up and working good on our end, so we're good to go. I'm Chris with Psychosource Magazine. I'm going to be your host here for Shop Talk. 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. It's going to be a good show tonight, and I got my crew with me, so let me bring all the rest of the Shop Talk cohorts in. What's up, everybody?
Hey. Happy Monday.
Heather, unmute your microphone.
Oh, boy. Maybe not. Maybe not.
You with us?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I see, I mute the microphone if I cough or sneeze, and then I screw it up. So,
Nancy Weems totally busted you. She said sleeping at the light.
No, I wasn't sleeping. I coughed earlier, and I didn't want to get in trouble.
I mute your microphone when we're off the air. All right, so what's everybody doing? Tell me what's going on. It's Father's Day. Everybody's been celebrating. My poor friends, I got to tell you, Mark, I've made 53 phone calls today to people who were actually celebrating Father's Day and interrupted their holiday.
I didn't answer any, but I called back once. So.
Oh.
At least I called back.
You're not, you're bad at that.
I'm bad with
You're
holidays.
bad at the holiday thing, the Sunday thing. I'll be like, you do know it's 11:30 on Sunday night.
Yep.
You can't call them.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Well, he does.
No, it doesn't.
He does anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Time out.
What? Time out. Hey, Cabana Dan in the house with us. Good to see you. Listen, man, you guys don't have to feel like you're just another effing observer here on Shop Talk. We welcome you to post your comments, questions, and concerns right over here in the box, and we will bring them up on the air as we can. Jeremy Sather, Dairy Queen ice cream cake with my dad and the fam. Right on.
I like Dairy Queen.
I like Dairy Queen.
Bill Stevens, call me anytime. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Well,
Ashley Woodford fighting an ear infection. That's a hell of a way to spend Father's Day.
I want to know what all the dads had for Father's Day dinner. Chris asked for stuffed peppers.
Hey,
it's June.
stuffed
I figured
peppers
he'd
are
want a
good
steak
dinner.
on the grill and yada yada. No, stuffed peppers.
Oh, well, listen, like I said, we got a hell of a show going on tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to start rocking through some of the stuff that we have. And like I said earlier in the show, this is 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. We do some entertainment. We have some motorcycle talk. We do some products. We start the whole thing off with a little segment we call the news. First up in the news tonight from Road Racing World and Motorcycle Technology, Moto America. More on Kyle Wyman's surgery and recovery. Wyman, injured at Road America, will miss next round at the Ridge.
It's a bummer. He just took the win for Harley during the last race. Such a bummer.
Him and his brother first and second, right?
I know. How awesome was that? But
so in this story, the Panera-bred KWR Ducati Superbike team is withdrawn from next week's Moto America Superbike event at the Ridge Motorsports Park after the crash and subsequent injury of rider and team owner Kyle Wyman. The team will forego participation in round 4 of the championship to focus on the following race event at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. And this was due to his injury.
Well, they're saying that people are happy that Indian broke down so Harley couldn't win one.
Oh
man!
Oh my!
I just had to say that. I mean, it's
somebody had to.
I'd probably 10 people have sent that to me so far this week. So.
Ashley,
you got your sassy pants on tonight.
He is a little sassy.
Son of a biscuit eater.
So Ashley Woodford said he's such an amazing rider. He really is. He really is. And all these guys, man, you gotta give them some mad credit. The stuff these cats are doing are insane. And I never, I've been shooting superbike and stuff forever, but lately watching those guys, both with King of the Baggers and the Bagger Racing League, they've been doing those slow motion videos, watching those guys back them into the turns.
It's crazy.
Screw that.
Balls of steel right there, boy.
Yeah, man, that ain't me.
It's crazy. They're going so fast that it almost looks the opposite when you're standing there. It sounds faster than it looks. They're going so redonkulously
until you're right
fast.
up in it, and then they pass you up so fast can't turn your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Heather actually got to go to outdoor motocross this week with Billy.
I did. I went to
Billy
High
Grotto.
Point.
That is one of my favorite places in the world.
It was so. The best part about it, the racing was awesome. The competition was fierce, but the best part about it was the thousands of people that were there. It was so good to see everything alive again and people happy to be out. Even on the way home, coming through the city, there was a baseball game. So the stadium was full. It was so nice to see the city alive again for the first time in over a year.
We still have a baseball team?
We do.
I mean, I assumed that's what was going on.
I mean, they suck, but they're here.
Oh, yeah, I'm still willing to trade them for a half-assed basketball team.
And I'll tell you something about High Point that for years they had to back the partying down because the party was overtaking the races.
Yeah.
I mean, it was freaking off the charts.
Yeah, there was, and that's I told Billy that going in, because Billy was there because Twisted Tea is sponsoring the series, right?
And I'm bummed I missed him. So
totally they have a factory team,
the
Twisted Tea Suzuki factory team.
He just said it kicked ass, Mark.
Yeah,
but Billy was there for that, and I'm telling him, I'm pumping him up on the way in. I'm like, dude, Twisted Tea's perfect for High Point. But then I found out from Bitos, like, the whole thing changed, man.
Yeah.
It's not the big stupid party that it always used to be when we were kids.
We used to prep it for a week.
I'll tell you what, it took Missy and I, we left before the last moto ended. So they were still doing laps when we left. It took us over an hour to get out of the parking lot. Over an hour. It was like an hour and 15 minutes to get out of the parking lot.
We used to go stay up there for days. Oh, man, it felt like a month. By the time you left there, it was the roughest ride home, and it was close. But what a great time. I mean, that's always been a really good race.
So let's go back to the news for a minute. This one's coming in from Chestnut Post. Daredevil Alex Harville dies attempting world record motorcycle jump. I think we got a video here for it, too.
Of him dying?
Moses Lake Air Show guests waited to see a local stuntman attempt a world record motorcycle jump.
Everyone that was around there was traumatized by that. I knew today coming out here that could be a chance.
So
I really hoped it wouldn't.
If you're not familiar
with
jumping a motocross bike like that, he is officially heading to case that jump.
Moses Lake Air Show guests waited to see a local stuntman attempt a world record motorcycle jump.
Never ends good.
Everyone that was around there was traumatized.
That's horrible.
Sad news. So stunt rider Alex Harville has died from injuries sustained while attempting set a world record motorcycle jump in Moses Lake, Washington. Harville, 28, was trying to jump the length of a football field, CBS affiliate KREM TV reports. That's so sad.
And his wife had just had a baby in May.
Oh my God.
So he had to leave behind a new family, and
what a shame.
It's just so tragic.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you can find, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but he was doing what he loved.
Yeah.
Man,
if there's any solace whatsoever, I don't know.
So young.
I guess that's the chance you take every time you fire the motor up. So make sure you be careful.
I don't know if you caught the one guest on Torque last week, but he was a daredevil, like, going in the footsteps of Evil Knievel.
Oh yeah.
And like to hear him talk, like that is the mindset that you have to have, and it was, I was never so aware of it as listening to that interview.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Devastating.
All right, next up, and this coming from Car and Bike, new Harley Davidson electric motorcycle to be called Livewire 1.
Okay. What happened to Livewire?
Well, it's a new company, a new day.
That was zero then? Livewire was
It was
zero?
a few months ago that Livewire was turned into a standalone electric vehicle sub-brand of Harley Davidson. Now, VIN filings with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I always love to say that. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, or Nitwits, have revealed the next electric motorcycle from Harley Davidson will be called Livewire 1.
I'm shocked we don't get yelled at a lot more.
I know. I'm trying. It's likely to be revealed on July 8th, 2021. The documents also revealed that the Livewire 1 will have a power output which is equivalent of 101 bhp. Big House Pete? BAP. The Livewire 1 will have an internal code name which is XB, while the model code will be LW1. Another fascinating fact is the first ever Harley-Davidson motorcycle was called the Model 1. So the reference to 1 could be a throwback to Harley's century-old legacy.
Was that whole article in code?
I don't know, but they're trying to attach. I feel like this. I feel like this has to be said. You know, the XB kind of ties back into the Buell heritage. The, you know, Model 1 tying back into Harley's heritage.
I had trouble remembering how to get here. You're throwing all these letters out at me.
I'm just saying, it's a game of letters, Mark. Pay attention. There's going to be a test later on.
What was the Dakota ring on? It's a Christmas story. We need one of those.
Little Orphan Annie's Dakota ring. Next up in the news, Speedway Digest. West Coast Bike Week creates exciting new experiences for motorcycle race fans. West Coast Bike Week, July 9th through the 18th. For 10 days in July, motorcycles are king in Monterey County. West Coast Bike Week, it just doesn't even roll off smooth. No. West Coast Bike Week. West Coast Bike Week.
Say it 5 times fast.
No. Oh, West Coast Bike Week. West Coast Bike Week. West Coast Bike Week. I'm not doing it.
That was 3. You were on a roll. Good.
You were on a roll.
Oh, man.
So, community-focused week of activities geared to those who love all things on two wheels. Plenty of excitement for riders or enthusiasts of all ages and experience levels. Basically comes down to events in and around WeatherTech Raceway, like so many racetracks, even two wheels, four wheels. They're trying to pack as many events in and around these race venues to get more asses in the seats. This one in particular goes all the way down to, for those who prefer to pedal on two wheels, the Twilight Cycling event returns July 7th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And Mark, I wanted to put that last one up there specifically for you because I know how you like a good pedal.
I like a nice pedal. I did notice that you were saying ass and seats. That ass is going all the way down the thigh. There are asses everywhere there.
Oh my goodness. All right, hey man, listen.
I'm surprised everybody's not using the Applebee's new commercial theme song.
Welcome back, Otter. That's very cool. So
well, nobody wants to eat at Applebee's alone, so
I want to remind everybody you're watching Shop Talk every Sunday 9 p.m. We go live with this program through the courtesy of the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We're going to hop off real quick and do some product. When we come back on the other side, we're going to have our first guest on. So stick with us for a minute. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm in the Grease and Gears garage today with another product spotlight. This week's product spotlight is on the Clockworks Benchmark Rear Builder Series fender. This is a great product. I've used them on other builds. We're going to be using these on our Twisted T Shovelhead project. The nice thing about these are the deep draw precision stamping technology that's behind this. You know, many other fenders, you go through different processes. The less body work that I have to do to something, the better off, because I'm usually coming through the shop with my ass on fire. This is helping me get things done faster. Why is it the Builder Series? Well, it's not been coated. There's no holes drilled in it, so you can put this fender exactly where you need it to be. Good product, 14 gauge steel. Clockworks always does a nice job. We appreciate their support in this build, and you can check this out for yourself at getclock.com. They come in right at $469.95 retail. They're also available through many of the parts distributors. Okay, man, appreciate Clockworks and everybody that supports the show. So our guest tonight is doing an event that I'm dying to go to this event. He does plenty of kick-ass events, and I'm talking about Ronster Ron with High Voltage up in Milwaukee, and coming up very fast, the Shovelhead Reunion. And man, how are we not loaded up with a pack of shovelheads on our way up to this?
And
because we're losers.
Loser.
Loser. That's
man.
why.
Well, listen, let's cut to the chase and get them on here with us. Ron, how's it going, man?
All right, how you doing?
Good. So
Good to be back with you guys.
How far out are we here?
Well, just a few days.
Oh.
The big main event is Saturday, June 26th, the Shovelhead Reunion, in conjunction with the Harley-Davidson Museum. But we've got a whole bunch of events coming up. We got a party at the Iron Horse Hotel in Milwaukee on Thursday.
I love that place.
Yeah, they're a great supporter of Milwaukee and high voltage and stuff. So we'll be raffling off a $250 gift cert there at that party. You can use that at the bar. You can use it for a room. You can use it at the restaurant. And then Friday, we'll have a couple pre-parties. The first one is at House of Harley, where I bought my Shovelhead so many years ago.
Taking it back home.
Yeah, they're going to have a band and a party. They got a really nice stage there at House of Harley in Milwaukee, and they're going to be giving away beach vacations from 4 to 7. And we'll have another pre-party Friday night after that. And then the main event will be Saturday, June 26th. And we're going to have 2 shows. We're going to have field games, awards, bands playing. The museum is finally open.
Yeah, buddy.
Doing bike nights. And they're going to be open for tours starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 26th. And then the restaurant will open at 11 for lunch. And then there'll be a group of people riding out to the main event at the Shovelhead Beer Garden, which is on South 76th Street. All the information is on highvoltage414.com. But there's people coming from literally other countries, all across this country. And it's kind of amazing, the feedback we've gotten and everything. So really looking forward to it. My Shovelhead has been my daily rider since the 80s.
Yeah, buddy.
And this whole Shovelhead thing kind of started in 2008 when I started the Shovelheads poker run in Milwaukee. And that was just to get my friends who had Shovelheads and have Shovelheads, and they weren't getting them out of the garage very often and out riding anymore. So it was an attempt to get them out. And then I saw the museum usually has like a knucklehead reunion every year. Nobody was picking up a Shovelhead reunion. So I pitched it about 3 years ago to Bill Davidson at the museum, Willie G's kid, who runs the museum. And his eyes got big and round. We were at the bar, the motor bar at the museum, and his eyes got big and round. He's like, "We love that stuff, Ron." So, and they've always been a big supporter. I've been a member of the museum since they opened. I've been helping them with events ever since, and they're helping me out with this one in kind of in return.
Well, and
That's awesome.
we bust our balls from time to time, but they really do, and especially in Milwaukee, is like you were talking about the Iron Horse Hotel, and Heather immediately reacts to that because the couple times that we've come up for events and everything that we've done in and around the Iron Horse Hotel, like what a killer place, and they are so happy to be ambassadors for the town, and
they really are. There was, one of the biggest things I like about them is on one of our last visits there, we had a miscommunication about displaying one of Chris's recent builds at a venue. And without hesitation, the people at Iron Horse Hotel said, "Bring it in, we'll put it on display for the weekend." And they did. They put Chris's build right in the lobby for everybody to see, and they were so welcoming and so kind, and they have the best brunch I've ever had.
Oh yeah,
just saying.
Yep. Hey, earlier you gave a shout out to Cabana Dan. I got to tell you that Cabana Dan's custom turbo shovel is in the lobby of the Iron Horse.
Nice.
Right now, I wish I had a pic of it. But it's a really nice turbo shovel. And
how many bikes are you expecting? Like, what's the turnout you're anticipating?
And I usually get about for the Shovelheads run, usually like about 120. But I explained this to Bill Davidson. Harley Davidson made over 330,000 Shovelheads.
Yeah,
that's more than twice as many as all knuckleheads and panheads combined. So I don't know if a minuscule amount of all the Shovelheads ever made came, say 0.1%, that'd be 330 Shovelheads.
Wow.
Right on.
So it could be possibly a big, huge group of shovelheads that's just traveling around in Milwaukee and eating everything and drinking everything in sight.
That's awesome. Chris, I think I would like to be demoted.
To what?
Oh,
Well, if you demote me, then I don't have to sit at this desk and I can go to the Shovelhead Reunion.
Okay, so back to Ron.
Right on.
Just saying.
Well, if we got all of our shovelheads and went there, there'd be like 10 more bikes.
Dude.
There you go.
Like,
Now you're talking.
I want to be demoted because, like, it's all our amazing contributors that we couldn't do this without. That to get to go to all this cool stuff.
Oh, you know what though, man?
You know what I'm saying? Just saying, demotion wouldn't be bad.
We get to go to a lot of stuff. I'll be completely honest with you, dude. This was one that's seriously was on my personal list, and you know my karma run over my dogma. And
Well, hey, you can carry our Facebook Live from the Shovelhead Reunion. How's that?
We do have somebody that will be there. We actually have a couple people that will be there.
And I'll be more than happy to carry the live feed. More than happy to. So, working with Harley Davidson, all of that aside, like even just doing events, I wonder about this all the time. Like the pressure, you know, because you do a motorcycle event anywhere, you want it to be cool, but doing something in Milwaukee, man, like. What does that in the back of your mind? Are you like, okay, if I screw this up, I'm in Milwaukee. This is where the motorcycle is from.
They're watching your every move.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't worry about it all that much. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, and I've been helping people in Milwaukee my whole life. So whenever I do something, I have a lot of friends that step up and help. So I don't worry about it too much. And it's really it's like that whatever together everyone achieves more, and teamwork makes the dream work. So it's really all the local sponsors, Harley Davidson and the museum, so like for the high voltage show this year, we're going to do another high voltage chopper kit, and the Paco frame was donated by Corporate Harley. I did a little work for them, a little fab demo out in their new headquarters in Sturgis, and I asked them if they could donate the frame, so they're doing that. The museum has always been there. Iron Horse, Backs, High Voltage. I mean, everybody does. So it's really not that difficult, just because I've been around a long time, and I really enjoy planning the events, working with all the people, supporting people, and we all work together so that kind of everyone is kind of rewarded or takes part in it. So usually if we have like food trucks or food vendors, they'll have to go back like 2-3 times to refill with the events. And I try to do events in the Milwaukee County Park system as much as I can, they in turn sell the beers, give me a deal on custom high voltage and Milwaukee County Park branded pint glasses and stuff. So kind of everybody just pulls together to get these done in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a little different. It's kind of like I don't know what you call it, like a golden town or whatever, where kind of a lot of people get along and support each other.
From the first time I started going up there with my buddy Mike, Milwaukee Mike, like it's as close to what I can compare to Pittsburgh. It's that river town, blue collar, like everybody works hard, and they're together on shit. Like it's a really good town, really is.
Yeah, and I had somebody ask me recently, like, what is it with Milwaukee? Everyone seems to get along pretty good, and what is it with the biker community and stuff? It doesn't seem like an us versus them. It seems like kind of everybody, the whole community supports the biker scene, and it's really I think it's because of Harley Davidson. It's the home of Harley Davidson, and everybody knows somebody. Their grandfather had a Harley, or their uncle had a Harley, or their relative works at Harley, or their grandfather worked at Harley, or worked at a subcontractor that supplied Harley in Milwaukee. So it's kind of like not an us versus them. It's kind of all of us working together for stuff.
Well, listen, let's talk for a minute for people that might not have caught you the last time you were on the show, or don't have the benefit of knowing the rest of the stuff you do. Let's talk a little bit about high voltage and all the races and everything.
All right. The high voltage show started as a fundraiser for cancer research. So I'm a cancer survivor. I survived pancreatic cancer, and last July it moved to my liver, and I survived liver cancer, which I went and rode around the hills around Sturgis 3 weeks after surgery, but don't tell my surgeon. Last year.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. So all the proceeds, all the money we raise through raffles and everything in the events goes to the We Care Fund at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and that was started by Dr. Doug Evans, the chief of surgery at the Medical College of Wisconsin, right here in Milwaukee. And he comes to the events, and Dr. Evans came to one the first time he came to a high voltage show. He tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like, dude, we got to get a photo right away. He's like, why? I said, because your staff bet me you would never come to a motorcycle event. And he started laughing. I go, what's so funny? He goes, they just said that because they don't know I used to ride, man. And he started telling me all these stories. So, and then most recently, so we kind of expanded. I had an opportunity to bring back ice racing at Wilson Park in Milwaukee. Again, I grew up in Milwaukee. Wilson Park was my park. Where I went fishing, played softball, went swimming, and everything. Well, back in the 80s, they used to have motorcycle ice racing as part of the Winter Festival there. So we brought that back, and then
oh boy,
and the AMA asked me to do the Ice Race Grand National Championship. So we've been doing that.
Dude, I'm bummed with we couldn't come up with that.
All the proceeds again for the Grand National Championship ice races go to, they're earmarked. They go to the We Care Fund, and they're earmarked for cancer research. And we have a high voltage hooligan class as well. So this last February at the Ice Race Grand National Championships in Wisconsin here, high voltage Grand Championship. We had almost 240 race entries.
Wow.
So it's just pretty wild.
Yeah, after the last interview we had talking about those races, all I wanted to do was come watch them. You sold them perfectly. Like the setup, the people, like, dude, they're awesome. That got to be a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Dude, there's nothing like it. There's no other racing that's like ice racing. Like it's a whole cultural thing in and of itself.
Yeah, and I raced my Shovelhead. I set my Shovelhead up as a hooligan ice racer, and I raced that. I had to.
You just had to.
I just had to. But I set it up as a hooligan bike, and I raced it the last 2 years in the Grand Championship ice race. So last year I took 4th, this year 9th.
You know what I think it is too, man? Like the racing is bitching. There's no doubt about that. Like it's amazing to watch these bikes. They go around the track like they're on rails, but it's really the culture that's around the racetrack reminds me so much of like 70s motocross. You know, like when you used to go to the motocross and it was in the middle of a farm field and you had the handmade snow cones and shit.
Yeah,
like
no amenities.
That's still what this is like. You know, the whole thing with the hot chocolate and everybody standing around, and you know, the camaraderie and the fellowship that goes on around the track is part of what makes all of this.
Oh yeah. Last year's national champion, who received the #1 plate in the high voltage hooligan class, JJ Flaherty, he couldn't race because of an injury, so he helped out Dave Kilkenny this year. He was crew chief, and Dave won the national championship in the high voltage hooligan class on a flat tire. And it was pretty awesome. So then we also expanded to this year. A friend of mine who did a rally in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, to benefit the Children's Hospital. He asked if I could help promote a half-mile race at the Elkhorn track. And you could probably go, if you wanted to bring that up, you could probably go to Shovelhead Reunion on Facebook or my personal Facebook page and scroll down. And the Facebook Live that we did from that is still up as a post if you wanted to do that. But that benefited the Children's Hospital. Yeah, so if you go down, I guess you'd have to go over to posts.
I'm so bad.
Or you could try mine. You can find the post. There should be a live feed still sitting there.
I'm so bad at this. You think
or
that
you
would
could
be
be,
good?
yeah. Or you could go to Ronster. You could try mine. It should be easy to find.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Tell us while I'm searching.
All right. So we did the high voltage half mile at the track in Elkhorn. That all benefited the Children's Hospital, and there you go, right there. So if you go,
I'm going to tell you a secret. My grandma is probably the biggest.
Go ahead. Turn that down.
Somebody's
if you
grandma.
move the slider over to 34 minutes in, that's the beginning. We went live about 34 minutes too early, but the Harley Museum sponsored the vintage class, so about 30.
Inaugural road rally. They're lining them up. Our first main event of the day. It is our vintage class. Number 31, Chuck Clark. 59, West, Rick Reed. 73, 71G, Eric Bass. 24, Frank Anderson. 55, Aaron Haupt. The 42 is Thomas Pratt. Row number 2 is the 52, Keith.
Here, I'll scroll through some of it.
Like a two-stroke, maybe a bull taco.
There you go, vintage class.
Dude.
That's pretty cool.
Those bull tacos are my new favorite bike to watch on flat track.
Like herding cats out there trying to get them lined up.
So pretty wild. So
Bikes, it looks like there's at least one small motor out.
So we had many classes out there, and again, while we ran Facebook Live through the Harley Davidson Museum, even the AMA carried it. We carried it on Shovelhead Reunion. There's just so many people shared that Facebook Live, and again, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people came out, and it was all to benefit the Children's Hospital through the Rustic Road Rally and the Rustic Road Riders out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
And that's good production. You guys got multiple camera angles going on, all kind of shit.
And that was all older bikes too, right? Like all vintage. So that was
this class was vintage. Yep.
That was like.
Oh, we had a hooligan class, another high voltage hooligan class. We had a women's class. We had a lot of classes.
There was like
40. There was some great racing that day, and that track was built in the 1930s as a horse racing track. That is gravel. That is crushed limestone gravel. And road riders are like, I'm not getting anywhere near gravel. These guys are racing on this half-mile gravel cushion track.
Yeah,
call it. So they can hit 85, 90 on that straightaway on that half mile.
That's that was 45 tons of motorcycle on that track right now.
One back in the day of like the local fair circuits and stuff, we used to race shit like that on dirt bikes and everything. Yep. They called them farm classes.
Yeah, farm class.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a blast. So motorcycle racing there at Elkhorn started in the early 1960s, and by 1966 it was they had the first AMA National there at Elkhorn. That was a 5-mile national, and I don't know if you remember, like the photographer Danny Lyons. He had a book called The Bike Riders. There's a lot of photos of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and people riding to Elkhorn, and that was for that national in 1966 at Elkhorn at this track.
Wow!
So it's pretty cool. Some of the racers consider this like the Indianapolis 500 or the Brickyard of Wisconsin.
Right.
Even in 1966, if you read some of the press releases and articles and stuff, it was called one of the premier tracks in the Midwest.
So we need to start making sure when you're doing this stuff that we are getting the RTMP and taking this stuff live too.
That weekend was our catalytic converter disaster weekend.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Luck of the draw,
dude. How about it? Only us, right? We're in a restaurant and someone cuts. Not one catalytic converter, but on a Sprinter van, they have 2 in a row. Cut it off while we were in the restaurant.
600 miles away from home.
Educated crackheads,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I got to thank for that.
Did you know
that
That
faith for that.
catalytic converter on a Mercedes is $6,800.
Well, that's why you don't buy Mercedes.
Crazy.
So,
Oh, good Lord.
So I got to thank MotorQuest Network, John at MotorQuest Network, for putting together that Facebook Live. He used to be a TV station manager, and he did an outstanding job
Yeah, he really
getting that
did.
out to everyone.
The production was great, but that's what I'm saying. Let's make sure we get us hooked up with him, and and we'll get this stuff out on all of our whole network. You know, because that's people would love to see this. I feel bad that we kind of dropped the ball on that. Let's do that from now on.
Oh, we're ready, man. So if you want to, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be doing Facebook Live from the Shovelhead Reunion periodically. So if you want to work with John, I'll send you some emails, or check some of the emails I already sent for his contact information.
I'll just send you his I'll CC you. I think I still have his contact. I'll just send over. I think you should just need our TMPs, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yep.
Milwaukee Mike, I wish we could come up this weekend, but Chris actually has to go build the Shovelhead.
Which is awesome, but at the same time, I was really hoping to have this one done for this event. And this is, I'll show you this real quick. This is this year's Twisted T-Bike. When we're all said and done with this one, someone's going to get to walk away with this motorcycle. But I just yesterday did I used an old 49 oil tank and used in a swing arm frame. Last week we did the Jeff Cochran conversion for the drop seat, they call it. It makes it like the 58 to 64 frame, and I'm having so much fun with it. But it's just, there would have been nothing cooler than to ride this thing into that event, man.
Do you have a picture with the bags on it?
I don't.
Oh, it looks so good.
You could get it ready for the High Voltage Show September 11th in Milwaukee.
That's right. That's
right. Do that. So we also do drag racing at the Milwaukee Mile. The dates, I can't remember the dates specifically, but it's once a month during the summer on the straightaway at the Milwaukee Mile, and that's in conjunction with the MKE Street Drag. So it's a long name. It's high voltage and MKE Street Drags, motorcycle and chopper drag races. I should have the new dates up there.
Saturday, June 19th, Tuesday, July 20th, Saturday, August 28th, Tuesday, September 21st.
Yeah, run what you brung. So we come out, you can see there's choppers out there, there's shovelheads and stuff, there's panheads, knuckleheads. Eric and Jennifer Bass came out with their knuckleheads last year, and we have a blast. There's electric bikes out there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, buddy. Well,
it's at the historic Milwaukee Mile Speedway.
You have a mad fan club on here. Everybody's giving you props. Let's see.
Wow.
Vicky Sanfilippo says Pan wants to race vintage people class.
Yeah.
There needs to be a class for vintage people, not vintage bikes.
Pan and Vicky are great people, great friends.
Don't they have like a super vet class? I mean, I'm not being hard on Pan. I'm just saying, once you play God, there's no way to go back to you know what I mean?
You gotta run with it, yeah.
Well, if you go through the comments, Lindsay Haletta said at Jack Pine Gypsies last weekend, they had an over 60 class. There was an 80-year-old out there.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Motorcycles make you tough, son.
Hey, we had Chuck Dickinson racing at the High Voltage Half Mile in Elkhorn.
Yeah.
He's 80. He might be 81 now, but he's not going to slow down.
Oh, but listen, we love Vicky and Pan both, man, and I think we're actually going to get to spend some time with them, right?
Yeah, on the chase.
Yes, very awesome.
Yep. Yeah, they're cool. Vicky came out to the High Voltage Ice Race Grand Championship, and she was the official track nurse.
That worked out then.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Yep.
She won't race though, but she'll come out and do her nurse.
No, she'll just take care of all of us idiots that go flying off the side of the track. Right on. Well, listen, man, tell everybody where they can keep track of you. We're going to do our due diligence to make sure that we're getting more of the stuff that you're doing out, because I'm amazed, and I think I do a lot of stuff. I'm amazed at all the stuff that you're involved in, dude.
It's it's a labor of love. For me, a busy mind is a happy mind. So the more I can do, the more my mind stays busy, and then I don't have time to like get down and just keep moving. But it also helps people. So we're helping, we're helping support world-class cancer research at the Medical College of Wisconsin here. The half-mile races help the Children's Hospital, which is literally right next door to the medical college on the same campus. And, it supports local vendors and everything. It's just motorcycle fun. Anything related to motorcycles, I'm all about that. When I'm on my bike, it's really the only place I'm truly happy and I can chill is when I'm on a bike, either riding or racing.
Well, and I can appreciate what you're saying there too. For you, a busy mind's a happy mind, but you got to understand that for a lot of people, that's the same thing that you're doing for them.
Right.
So you look around that crowd that you gather for some of this stuff, and those people are appreciating that same medicine.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks. I had a friend of mine said, with the cancer and everything, he said, Ron, life gave you lemons and you made lemonade for everybody to enjoy. So it's really what it's about. Come out, have some fun. Most of these events are free. The Shovelhead Reunion, just come out, man. There's no entry fee or anything. High voltage show, there's no entry fee. We raise a lot of our money through donations and raffle items. So we just want people to come out, help support cancer research, and have some fun, man.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask one quick question before you let him go,
Yes.
Chris?
Yeah, man.
I want to know who does his poster art for his
I
show.
know, right?
Oh,
Your
Kevin
artist
at
is incredible.
That's Kevin at Kelvis Art. Did that one back there, and we had great artists like Richie Hurley did a great graphic.
Yeah,
he's out of England. Matt from Frontiersman Studios out of Canada. Just people from all over sending in artwork and everything. But the one behind me, that was Kevin at Kelvis Art. The banner is the banners and the T-shirts and everything. That's Kevin at Reaction Graphics. So we just had a lot of people. Nikki at Dead Brain Laboratory did some graphics for us. So like I said, man, it's just teamwork makes the dream work. Everyone pulling together and pulling together for a good cause and a good time.
All right on. Listen, go check them out. Hit these events because these are people that love motorcycle events themselves. Go check them out.
Watch highvoltage414.com.
There you go.
Let me throw that up one more time for you.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, thanks for being with us tonight. I appreciate you taking some time. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Brefka, High Voltage. Go check out the ice races, the drag races. Be at the Shovelhead Reunion and comment on our next show that we're losers for not being there. Unless we happen to pop in. There. Yeah. But
you could demote me and you could go one way and I could go the other.
I'm okay with that.
Divide and conquer.
I'm okay with that. Don't push it.
I'll take one for the team. Divide and conquer.
Get that Shovelhead done and come out to the High Voltage show September 11th.
Yes, sir. All right, Ron. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
See you, Ron.
So good. Yeah. So good. Seriously, man, I hope to have the kind of, I know Michael Johnson just called us losers.
Love you too, Mike.
Loser.
Love you too.
I hope to have the kind of mental makeup to take care of other people when I'm having a hard time myself, that's like he said, life gives you lemonade and you made gives you lemons and you make lemonade for everybody to enjoy. That's awesome.
I know.
Keeps it busy. Stay
All right,
busy.
man. Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. You are watching Shop Talk. This is 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. We do this every Sunday, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, brought to you through the courtesy of the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. I forgot to say that we're 50 floors below the street level tonight, coming to you live from Source Media headquarters, and we're going to take 2 minutes, pay some bills, and come back, and we're going to have our second guest of the night. Don't go anywhere.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Hey, what's happening? It's Xavier with Providence Cycle Works, and you're watching Shop Talk.
My name is Ray Yanis. I'm from Ormond Beach, Florida. Got into motorcycling, at a very early age, like every young guy does with mini bikes, go-karts, that kind of stuff. I got a frame for a mini bike. I strapped that thing. It had no brakes. All my shoes had holes. And I grew up with Warren and Billy Lane. When I moved from New Jersey, I moved to Miami. Billy's a little bit younger than Warren and I. They've been cool since day one, man. I can't lie. My parents, they came from Cuba. My dad moved to New York City in 1959, right when Castro took over. I joined the Navy 1986. My chief had a Harley Davidson there, and he had an old FLH, and he would ride this thing in his uniform every day. Had a 67 Sportster with a Magneto. Don't recommend it. My first Harley was 1989. I've never been without a Harley since. I retired Miami, I was in law enforcement there for 23 years. Now this is what I enjoy. It's kind of like a Ripley's Believe It or Not, like everything's shrunk down. Small lathe, small drill press. When it's cold as hell out here, and it's, you get condensation and stuff. I don't have much wall space, but I have a little bit of everything that's important to me. After a long day, come in here and this is my happy place. I'm grateful. I thank God every day. You don't have to be the best fabricator. You don't have to be the best designer. You don't have to be the best mechanic. You don't have to be the best welder. You don't have to be the best anything. Just make sure that what you do, that you're going to be proud of it when you're done, that you don't take shortcuts, and that it's done the right way. I'm Ray Yanis from Ormond Beach, Florida, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.
This is Rick from RKB, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Okay, and we're back in the studio, in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Glad to see you guys stuck with us, and we still got more. Don't go anywhere. Shop Talk coming to you live with some great content. Man, Sturgis, right? Looking at that Iron Horse commercial, I was like, oh yeah, that's like next month.
Oh my God.
Not far away.
Oh my God, dude. The year is going so fast. That was, the one bad thing in the beginning of the show, I said the thing about, who else is glad that events are coming back. But I didn't mean who's glad that they're coming back to hyperspeed. Because we went from sitting on our asses waiting for things to happen to like now it's every week. There's 3 and 4 things that we got to get to and get done, and we're right back in it, man.
Yeah, no one said it was going to be easy. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to be easy.
I guess I should be grateful. But speaking of Sturgis coming up, man, we've talked about this a couple times. There is an opportunity for you to do some good stuff here, not only to take a chance at winning a motorcycle for what could be a $20 ticket. But this motorcycle was built by Charlie Brechtel. A lot of you guys from the Choppertown family will remember Charlie from his Good Time Charlie shows. The drawing for this bike is held August 13th, last day of Sturgis. This was the golden chopper that was going to be given away in Charlie's second full feature film. Unfortunately, he was taken from us before he got an opportunity to complete the film. The people behind the bike and the film all decided to give it up for the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. All of the proceeds, the minute you hit send on your payment for the $20 ticket, it goes straight to the museum. It's all going in honor of Charlie, and I can't think of a better way that we could remember Charlie. You know, as much as the Buffalo Chip was his crowning joy, you know, when he finally got to play that stage and be part of the national motorcycle scene on that level. So do us a favor, throw $20 at it, man. They're doing 6 tickets for $100 also, but like I said, even $20 will go a long way. And you could win a bitchin' pan.
I was going to say $100 to take a chance of winning that bike. Good move.
Yeah, buddy.
Score.
So second guest is no slouch in the world of bitchin' motorcycles either. And over to you, Heather.
Thanks.
I love doing that to her.
You're such a... Anyway, Jay Rogers, he is the promoter and the host of the Iowa Hog Drags and Nostalgia Reunion taking place this July out in the, I'm going to call it the cornfields of Iowa, because that's all I know that's in Iowa, other than Mr. Pat Jansen. But he's a great guy. He's doing this really from a good place in his heart. And I'm really excited to get to know him while you guys do.
Awesome. Well, let's roll. Jay, we thought we lost you there for a minute.
I thought we did too, but here we are.
So tell us about the Iowa Hog Drags and Nostalgia Reunion. We want to know about this event.
It's a bit of a throwback. A lot of what went on in the AMRA and the HDRA was the final evolution back in the 80s of what folks like Joe Smith and Joe Thronson and Glenn Kerr and T.C. Christensen and them had all done in the 70s. Of course, Tom McLaughlin and Jim Milstead and those guys with Drag Bike and everything they had going on the East Coast all kind of came to fruition in the Midwest in the 80s with a bunch of guys out in the cornfield that said, hey, let's see how fast our motorcycles are. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that wasn't really that big of a deal in and of itself. It was just a bunch of guys out dicking around, but it turned into something a lot bigger. And to quote Jackie Hill from last year's event, was that it kind of became a thing, and everybody knew where they were going to be at on the 4th of July. And it was out in a cornfield in Iowa, sweating your ever-loving behind off, having a little bit of good time on motorcycles. And, the abate party was going on at the same time. Of course, that's all changed a little bit, and that's kind of what brought it into the Iowa Hog Drags back in the late 80s, early 90s, was kind of a split between them and just the whole scene changing significantly at that point. But what we try to do today is take a look back from the beginning to the end, and the end being today where we are, and see what we can do to say thank you to all those folks that put in so much time and effort to get us where we're at today. I mean, we've got Top Fuel motorcycles running in the 6s. We've got the Top Fuel metrics running in the 5s. We've got the bagger classes, the stuff that George Bryce and Andy Simon, guys like that are doing. Joe Perry with the Hot Street. It's just incredible what these guys are doing. But we try to take a moment and look back and celebrate how we got to where we're at today by getting this old junk out of the closets and from under the tarps and taking it out and dumping a little bit of race gas in it and seeing what we can do to break it so we can work on it again next time.
Now listen, that picture right there really, really says it all for me too, because I'm a child of the 70s, and even when I was too young to be out here on motorcycles, I was enamored by the culture, and especially being from Pennsylvania when we had Keystone Dragway right up the street, and we weren't far away from New Jersey, from Englishtown. Like, this was
Hagerstown.
Yeah, between dirt and asphalt, drag racing was it for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And man, I can remember.
I'm having Fast Eddie flashbacks on that picture.
Well, and looking at this picture, Mark, like it's just lined with cornfields. Like, I think about the quarter-mile hump that was in Keystone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You actually, at one point, it was so bad that the front tire and the wheelie bars would lift the rear tire off the ground.
Right.
We quit racing there. HDRA. We wouldn't even go to the HDR races. We raced street class. B street class had the fastest B street class Harley in the world 7 years in a row. We wouldn't race there anymore. They'd bitch at us because we wouldn't show up.
And the old joke about Humboldt was it was a good track as long as they mowed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, the track's significantly improved now, I mean, the new track manager, James Barheit, it's now North Iowa Dragway. He's done a lot of work out there. We've got 1,800 feet of shutdown. You don't have to be afraid how fast you're going to go. We've got nitro bikes running 450s, 460s, 470s out there. It's going to be a fast weekend.
Yeah.
The track record's down low fours with an altered fuel car.
What's the temperature?
So it's a good track. And that picture, the one that you picked, Chris, is a great one to pick because Troy and that's Troy Fitro and his wife Diana. They're out of Davenport and they race with Twang, and they've been associated with this stuff going clear back to the AMRA days. Yeah. And that is a wild ass 114-inch Shovelhead, and he's chased me down a couple times and run me down. And I always love hearing that big thing come screaming behind me. And Troy and Twang have really stepped up this year to help support our race, putting some seed money in some of the vintage classes. That picture there, that's Lee Wickstrom's knuckle dragger out of Minnesota. And boy, I tell you what, right there is a tribute to what we're trying to do.
Look at the tank.
Yeah.
Didn't we just dude,
didn't we just put one of those on your mini bike?
Yeah, we did,
right?
Dude.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a dual carb alcohol knucklehead.
Dude.
2-speed transmission in it sometimes. He has some trouble making that work, but right now it's running a 4-speed. But Lee has been my nemesis in the last, 8-9 years. Him and I get together. I run a 74-inch Ironhead. And every year that big knucklehead chases me down, but I finally got out on him hard enough last year at Humboldt to take one from him. I can't wait to give it another try.
Well, and man, I wasn't saying anything at all bad about any of the tracks back in the day or the professionalism. I'm just saying that, like,
made us better riders.
Yeah, that was part of it all. That was
right.
part of it all, man.
Yep.
I mean, knowing which tracks were like mud and which tracks were like the surface of the moon, and
Yep.
Yep.
And that's a lot of what's changed, I mean, what we used to think was, no, we didn't care. We made laps there. I ran a B-Fuel bike, 10-inch tire, high gear bike in 90 and 92 over at Humboldt. And that bouncing around didn't bother me a bit. I just loved it, and this race is a lot more than the track, the venue. It's an amalgamation of everything that's gone on for the last 50 years and a little bit of a throwback and a thank you to all the guys that worked so hard to let us do what we do today,
Well, you have let's take a second and give some props and show everybody your shirt.
Yeah, right on, man.
Pete
and Jackie.
That's where it starts and ends, right there.
Buddy.
Pete and Jackie
Absolutely.
Hill.
He's a good man right there.
Yep. So glad to be able to call the two of them friends, and we got to see back in Bonneville a couple years ago. We got to pit with Pete and Jackie through Drew and Ashley Woodford, and better than that though, it was great to pit with them and that whole deal. But they had a thing called the Legends Dinner. And Pete and Jackie were up on the panel, and at the Legends Dinner, while you're eating dinner, they go through the legends that are up on the panel, and they all get to tell stories. And Jackie was telling a story about how they used to fight in the pits, and I think Pete was talking about how she always mixed his fuel, and he knew that one day they had an argument. And
she mixed it a little hot.
She mixed it hot, and he said, "I knew as soon as I fired it up." He said, "Woman, what did you do with the fuel in this bike?" And she said, "You just go out and get us that money." Oh my God!
No, that's love.
Oh, she's amazing. I love her. I love Jackie.
She is the definition of a hot shit. She really
Oh,
is.
she really is. She really, and I'm gonna totally throw you under the bus, Chris. When you realized that Pete Hill was pit there, you totally fanboyed.
Of course. Of
You were
course.
like, do you see who that is? Do you see who that is? That is Pete Hill. I can't believe I'm pitting with Pete Hill.
Listen, that dude.
He was a legend in our times.
I know.
Yeah, that cat didn't have balls. He invented balls.
Yeah.
He invented balls.
Yeah, it was somebody that we looked up to, and we
Yep.
started racing just to try and be something like him, you know.
Yeah, buddy. So then later on, like in the beginning of the magazine, we sponsored Hildebrand in the Pro Fuel, and he was doing some good things in the HDRA. That was right at the tail end of HDRA when it switched over to Spevco and stuff, and that was a shame, man. It was a shame to see that.
It was just starting to get hot, you know. People were starting to flock to the races, and I remember going the first couple races, there was nobody there, and near the end when it started dying, there was tons of people. The stands were packed. It was always a good time.
But that's a credit. That's a credit to what you guys are doing here in a long about way. I mean, you know, this all started with independent race promoters that were putting stuff together and doing it because it was fun, and it's so good to see this back.
Yeah, and here's the reality. I'm not a promoter. I never wanted to be a promoter.
But you make
I
the
love
best
to race
ones,
motorcycles, and I've got some old shit that doesn't qualify anymore with what's going on today. I could spend some money and I could step up a little bit, but I bought my dad out here about 10 years ago or so on our whole race program, which was a gas bike and everything else. And our only goal at that time was to try to do a little bit better than Dad did with it. Not really change it much, but get it out there and go down the track with it.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we've built this whole relationship with this extreme. It's an amazing community. We've got so many guys. Henry Brothers Racing. We've got Al Belize, Mike Henry, Brad Henry, Chris Henry. We've got Leo Hess and Brian Hess. I mean, we've got some of the original Go Fast dudes helping us do what we do. And, you know, we try really hard to be as open as possible. I want every motorcycle that thinks they have what it takes to be part of what we do to show up. And, you know, if we got a vintage or a nostalgia class for you, we'll put you there. If we don't, we're going to put you somewhere else. You're going to have a good time with us. That's what we do. We're here to race. This is a total philanthropic thing for me. I won $100 last year because I took runner up in my class. That's my bike right there with my boy.
Right on.
I took runner up in my class last year. It went right back into the pot for this year. I don't care about the money. And, you know, we get teams all the time. Give us $500 for travel money. And we'd love to do that. But above and beyond that, we want people to show up here because they want to be a part of what we're doing.
Show up because they love
Not
the
because
race.
of the money. And that's really what it comes down to. We throw some money at the nitro bikes because those guys are trying to make a living at this.
Yeah.
And if they're not making a living, they're damn sure spending a lot of money just to go out.
I was going to say, that's
we
an
try to put
expensive
some money
bike.
together for the nitro bikes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is about getting together with people. And Jackie Hill called it a family reunion. After the second event, I got a letter from Jackie. My wife told me that it had come in the mail, and I was terrified because everybody knows Jackie knows she's not outspoken at all. I mean, she'll tell you what she thinks. And I opened the letter, and within about 2 sentences, I was gobsmacked, and I felt so good about what we were doing that Jackie signed on with it. And I mean, she'd likened it to a family reunion. That's really the way it feels for us.
Yeah.
You know, my days started out in this shit. I was a hill climber back in the 70s on old junk Kawasaki.
Damn.
And I ran off and joined the Army. My dad started drag racing motorcycles. I still race the bike that my dad started racing in 1985, and my boy's taking it over from me. So, you know, I mean, for us, it's a family thing. It's about getting out with these folks and hanging out with them for the weekend. And if we get a little racing in, then great. If we don't, who gives a shit? Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
That's it. Racing's fun. I mean, and you said it right there. You got the top fuel guys. If they're not making a living at it, boy, they're spending a lot of money on those bikes.
Absolutely.
So for the smaller guys to come and support that and put on a show, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about a show. So
Hey,
everybody come out and race their ass off.
Check this comment out from Ken Kathy Holloway. Pete is 90 years old and still rides his motorcycle to work.
That's so awesome.
I knew Pete was in his 80s. I didn't realize he was 90.
And Ken and Kathy Holloway are sandbagging a little bit. Ask Ken what he's bringing to Humboldt. He's got 3 pieces of Bonnie Truett's drag racing empire.
no shit.
How much memorabilia. And Ken is bringing every bit of that up to Humboldt to spend the weekend with us.
Wow, is that cool?
Bonnie is the Legends Award this year. We started this last year with Barry's help. Last year, the Legends Award was Joe Smith, and Barry made a beautiful little representation of Joe Smith's knucklehead drag bike, and that was the trophy for the fastest Nitro ET of the event of the weekend. This year, the honoree is Bonnie. We believe, I don't have 100% confirmation yet, but we believe that we have Scott coming up with Dale Nungasser to make laps and race with us in our fuel classes. We've got somewhere on the order of 15 to 20 various and assorted vintage and nostalgia gas bikes, Yamahas, Triumphs. Kai Michelson, the Rocket Man. I mean, how about that for a legend? Kai's going to be there. That's me right there. Kai's going to be there for the weekend with a little Triumph that I helped him buy from Ron Schaefer last year. He's going to be out there making some laps with us. Glenn and Carolyn Kerr coming up from Louisiana with Double Trouble. Doc and Kirsten are coming down from Shawana with their whole show. I mean, we got a great thing going on here, and we're trying so hard to build it up. I'm not a promoter. I'm a damn drag racer who got stuck in the middle of something he wanted to be a part of. Didn't really want to be a part of.
I don't feel bad for you because I'm not a publisher, and I still can't spell. But somehow this is what happens. Like everybody goes, damn, we ought to do something. We ought to all get together, and everybody looks around and points at you, and that's it.
Right.
Your number's up. It's your turn to do the shit.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And I'm good with it. You know, I mean, I'm surrounded by really cool stuff. The weather's hanging behind me. I can't get the camera side right.
Well, in all reality,
Dancing Holly from his name was Campy, and he was one of the biggest drag racers around back in the 70s and 80s. Ran all kinds of wild stuff. A side-by-side Ironhead. And when he passed away, his family reached out to us. They didn't have very many pictures of him racing. And so we reached out to our community, and they ended up with hundreds of pictures of Campy racing. And as a little bit of a thank you, they turned over his leathers to me to take charge of until they go on to the next person, which in all likelihood is going to be a museum with some of my junk that I've collected. I mean, you can see on the wall behind me. I got some pretty neat crap laying around from all over the racing community, and this is what we do. It's putting this story together and putting it in front of people and saying thank you to the guys that did it.
Well, you keep saying I'm not a promoter, but if you think about it, better to have somebody like you who's heart of the racing is going to bring it back to the racers compared to some, corporation or some dude with money that has a really killer affliction shirt on when he shows up.
We were just talking about the end of HDRA.
Yeah, right.
Look, that's how
happened.
Good a corporation did with it.
Yeah, absolutely, and big props to Bill Roll for trying to put it back together and those guys. They're doing a hell of a job.
And at that
show going on.
At that point, at the end, there was a killer lineup of racers that were, they were all out when that all fell apart. They all went in different directions, but man, that was a show. We showed up for those races. You knew you were going to see some head-to-head racing.
We expect to have 20 to 30 fuel bikes at our event this in 2 weeks here. I don't know for sure. But we're trying really hard to be the biggest non-sanctioned. We don't go up against AMRA or HDR. We don't want to. Yeah. We don't want to go up against Hogs Gone Wild. We're our own little thing out here in the middle of nowhere, and we want people that believe in it to be a part of it and invite them all and welcome them all.
We got some questions here. William King wants to know, Jay, can I run a naturally aspirated bike on the drag strip?
Absolutely. I mean, we have classes for metrics. We have classes. So we've got a run what you run class. We've got the Money Bike ET class. The Money Bike ET class is kind of a catch-all for anything that doesn't fit. That class, the only rule there is no delay boxes. We don't care what fuel. We don't care what aspiration. We don't care what configuration. It's a Money Bike class. You pay your money. You take your chances. There are buybacks allowed. It's an ET class. You're up against yourself on the tree for the most part, but yeah, you can make laps with us. The Run What You Run class, the only real difference there is that there's no buybacks allowed. And then we've got our vintage classes, which are cut off at Shovelhead and Ironhead for this year. We're probably going to have to open it up to Evos pretty soon because we do try to follow the AMCA guidelines for antiques. That's not this year, though. This year it's Shovelhead and Ironhead, and then single overhead cam metrics, and then pretty much any British pushrod, Nortons, whatever, Triumph, BSA, we don't really care. We've got, those are index classes. We've got a 750 index and a 650 index. And then again, thanks to Motorcycle Specialties out of Davenport, we've got a vintage open class this year. And Rockford Liquidation Warehouse has stepped up huge and put seed money in every single class. That's all out racing with Al Belize and Brad Henry and those guys out of Rockford. They bring a ton of really wonderful equipment to hang out with us for the weekend. I'm telling you what, if you went to a museum to look at drag racing related stuff and enjoyed it, this is going to make your whole damn life, because all that stuff in that museum is on this track and it's tearing it up.
Yep.
We break my bike every damn time we get it out.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been to the Wally Parks Museum, and sitting here going through your photo roll tonight is like looking on the wall at pictures from the tracks there. It's insane.
And that's just a tiny sample of we had James Hirschberger took, I don't know how many hundreds of great shots. There's a link on our webpage there on the Nostalgic Drag Bike Racing League to find his stuff. Brad Henry, James Whistleman's another great guy that comes over and shoots for us for nothing. We're all doing this because we love it. That's what it's all about. Come hang out with us. We've got Lee Wickstrom, who dominated the AMRA back in the late 80s with the Beast. He's goofed around with us for the last few years with the Knuckle Dragger, and now this year he's done a full recreation of the Beast that he raced back in the 80s. And good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, he's bringing it to Humboldt this year to make laps again. And so, it's one story like this after another, and it's really what we want to do. We want everybody to be involved. We're not going to write no rules to keep anybody out. Matter of fact, we'll change every rule we have that makes getting you in for the weekend.
Well, it looks like we might have an opportunity to get our own Milwaukee Mike to the track. He said it's not that far. Is there camping on site? And someone told him all the corn you can eat. So I'm thinking if I get him a couple bucks for gas, we might have an embedded reporter
and some butter, of course.
Yeah,
that'd be outstanding. And there is free primitive camping on the premises. I sent Heather the official poster that'll be in the Bait newspaper for the weekend. Of course, at the same time our deal's going on, we've got the Algona Freedom Rally, which posts 10 to 12,000 people on a good year. This is our third year, and we're really trying to get somewhere. The first year we had about 1,200 through the gate, and then I don't know, maybe 20 competitors all told, half a dozen nitro bikes. Last year with COVID, our gate was down to about 1,000 people, but we had over 60 competitors, including about a dozen fuel bikes. And this year it's starting to look like we've got north of 20 fuel bikes. And I don't even know for sure. I've lost track of what all is going to show up for the vintage and nostalgia. But we've got some incredible history lessons, and it's a great time, and we want people to be a part of it.
Look at that.
Yeah, crazy. There's a great picture right there. Talk about some history. Left to right, that's Crazy John Markwald, Pete Hill, and Alan Peterson, and Leo Hess. Those guys wrote the books in the late 70s and 80s for making Harleys go fast on nitromethane. And that's John Street bike right there, Double Engine Evolution. Beautiful piece.
So check this comment out that just came in. Wink Eller, hey Buddy Road, just wanted to check in and say hi. It's a funny thing, I've been missing my nitro bike lately. Leo Hess and I think, are the only crazy nutcase Harley riders to run a top fuel bike at El Mirage in the dirt.
Old Wink got stories, best, man. Dude. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Leo was actually talking about bringing that LSR bike to Humboldt. I don't know whether or not he'll have time. He's had some issues the last couple of weeks trying to get his bike down the track consistently and as fast as he's used to. He's hurting parts because he's making so much power now. But Leo and Brian will be there. Brian was there last year, and the two of those won it last year. Leo took the open class, and Brian took the nostalgia class on a couple of beautiful little pieces of incredible nostalgia nitro machinery,
We have the dogs here are losing their mind tonight, huh? I'm going to kill one of them, and then there'll be less.
Sorry, they're down the hall.
It'll be down the wall.
Trying to address it.
Let's go back to a couple more pictures because you really sent in some great stuff.
Oh yeah.
I did find those pictures from.
Yeah, so that's me with Brian Hess. Right to left would be me, Brian Hess, Leo Hess, and Mike Rowland. And again, Mike Rowland. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mike Rowland was the king of making horsepower back in the 80s and 90s. And here he is back hanging out with Leo and Brian again, making huge horsepower and coming out and having a blast with us on a hot weekend in Iowa. I love that picture right there. I mean, what more can you say? Those guys right there, Mike, he's such a happy-go-lucky dude, and Brian working so hard with his dad. They put together a hell of an operation, and it's so fun to get to hang around with them for the weekend. And if you do, I want you to be aware that Leo has a bit of a mortar that every now and then has a tendency to go boom. So just prepare yourself. There's a beautiful bike right there owned by Albalese out of Rockford, Illinois, with Rockford Liquidation Warehouse, who is one of our biggest sponsors this weekend. That bike sat in a window in Rockford, Illinois for 20 years. And I helped Al put that deal together here about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And Al was able to pick it up and freshen it up. And he brought it to Humboldt last year and started making laps on gas on it. We put together a 4-inch tire nitro class for this year, hoping we could get Al to tip the can on that thing a little bit. I don't know if we're going to be successful, but I know Gary Bergman is coming from South Dakota with a 103-inch Trek motor in a neat little piece, and he's tipping the can on a 4-inch slick, and I hope they don't let him run for that $500 by himself.
That'd be a shame.
It would be.
Yeah.
But I can't think anybody's worked harder to earn it than Gary. Gary puts in the work.
Yeah, it would be a shame to have a money run be a single pass.
Trust me, if it ends up being him alone, I will dump nitro in Daisy and go up there and make a pass next time. I don't give a shit if my transmission ends up from Humboldt to Des Moines. I'll put some fuel in.
Make a show
I got
out
a
of it.
4-inch tire.
Yeah. Got to make a show out of it.
Damn right.
So William King is asking another question. How much power can I make out of my 74 Knucklehead?
How much money do you have?
That's it.
That's it right there.
He's a bitch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can make 70 horsepower and ride it for the rest of your life. You can make 700 horsepower and ride it 100 feet.
Yeah, ride it for the rest of the weekend. Maybe. Oh shit. We had some pictures sent in, but I'm having a hell of a time pulling them up.
I put them in the folder and I emailed them to you as well, if that helps.
All right, good. It's not my fault.
It's all me. It's all me. Well, that's cool, man. Listen, so we have your Facebook up, right?
Yep, you've got the flyer and you've got the little mini flyer, both of which have the QR code on it for the event page. If you can't get to the event page by searching for it or using the QR code, just go to the Nostalgic Drag Bike Racing League page. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful. I get reminded of it all the time. It was created in a moment of passion and not much thought given to it. So anyway, the Nostalgic Drag Bike Racing League page, it's a group on Facebook, and we post everything that goes on in the event. We promote everybody's races. We try to be a consummate race promoter. We want everybody to be successful. We're not just trying to promote our own stuff. So,
well, we're not going to cut you loose just yet because we have a little bit of video footage. We want to go through some of this stuff with you to give people a taste of the flavor of this.
Yeah, right on. There's Tater's bike. We're expecting him to come back again this year. And Tater brings an entire museum with him. He's got such a great display. He's got Dirty Dave Caldwell's rear engine bone bike. Tater and his display of sacrifices to the gods of speeds. Yeah, it's nothing but busted parts, and it's just a really wonderful trip down memory lane at what it takes to do this and how committed you have to be to it.
Love this.
To understand the
hey, none of us, their damn few of us making anybody.
This is great.
Family of explosive compounds that contain both nitrogen and oxygen.
God damn it, Bobby! Stop playing with those chemicals.
Like nitroglycerin, dynamite, and gunpowder. So why use it if it's so explosive? Well, that's simple. Because just like its family members, nitromethane carries its own supply of oxygen with it. This is why you can set off a stick of TNT underwater or fire a gun in space. It doesn't need oxygen from the atmosphere to ignite. This characteristic makes it a very temperamental but very good fuel for creating massive amounts of horsepower.
Yeah, you skip to about there, you get to the real action. That's Russ Hendren right there. That's Crazy Horse Racing. And Russ absolutely dominated the AMRA back in the late 80s.
I'm going to put this.
He was 3 or 4-time national champ.
I'm going to put the link
and
to
we
that
reached
video
out to
up.
him last year and to see if we could get him to come out. And it worked out, and he was there. And he'll be back again this year riding Black Betty, which is a double engine ironhead.
Dude, I'll never.
Built by Anthony Porter and his campaign now by Ray Center, American Airplane.
That never
Also
gets.
be riding both bikes.
That never gets old.
Drag bike and Ray's double engine ironhead.
So, I'll never forget the 2 lessons I got, one race after another. The first race, I was about in this position, taking a picture of Jeff Spina leaving the line. The next day, my eyes swelled up from so much nitro in my face. And the next race after that, I was 3/4 in the front of Lumpy when he was leaving the line, and his entire top end blew apart. Push rods went flying past my head. It knocked him out cold. He sat on the line, dude. Knocked him out cold, split the frame in half. Love this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine died in the pits in Humboldt in 1994. We built a new motor, and we had made some mistakes. And when we fired it up, we pushed the quick cylinder off and cut the backbone in half, cut the down tubes in half. That was the last college loan I could get at the time, so our racing career was over.
It's a dangerous sport. No questions asked.
Man, and like you said, the text that came up, it says, the audio is nothing compared to being beside the bike. But even the percussion, when those engines take off from the line, the percussion, you can feel it through your chest,
it's like a drummer beating on your chest.
Yep.
Yeah, these guys are taking motors that were born with 70 or 80 horsepower on a good day and making 400 horsepower, and guys like Leo are making even more than that. You get up into the top fuel, and they're pushing over 1,000 horsepower. We weekend, when we're not chasing this shit around, we work on a big car out in dragster too, and we're cranking out 6,000 horsepower with nitromethane going through 5 gallons on a warm-up.
Yeah.
Crazy what nitro does.
Heather wants to know what the top speed's been at your races.
In our race, last year it was neck and neck between Jim Martin with the SOS on his Pro Fuel bike. I think he ran a 479. Or I'm sorry, I think he ran a 480. And Leo on his Nostalgia Top Fuel bike ran a 479. Mile an hour would be somewhere around 145, 150.
Wow. Is he dragging his foot?
He's doing everything he could to keep the bike on the track.
Keep it to the right.
Riding these square tire bikes, people don't understand. You don't steer them or pilot them like anything else. It takes a lot of body English on the frame to get them in the direction you want them to go. One of the first things they taught me when I got my license is if it's not going straight, let off and ride it out. The odds of you bringing it back straight are pretty slim. But you can see Jordan's body English there. He's hanging well off the bike. That's a Nitro Funny Bike entry right there. Jordan Peterson, who is Alan Peterson's boy, rides that thing. And they'll be there again this year, too. That bike's capable of 450s at 160 mile an hour. That's John Markwell's old bike there. There's Lee Wickstrom on the
buddy, look at that.
That's 100 cubic inch dual carb alcohol knucklehead.
So William King, he was asking before. He just wanted to know if it's possible to get 100 horsepower out of his knucklehead.
Absolutely. Cams and heads.
Nancy Weems, Heather telling you cross the line, you lose. And sometimes in a big way.
Yeah.
Right?
Walls and Jersey barriers are not forgiving.
Right on.
If you can still turn, you're not going fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if those handlebars are doing anything, you're not quite up to speed yet. It's a ton of fun. The adrenaline rush is totally off the charts. Your heart's pounding out of your chest. You're feeling everything. Every push of that piston, you're feeling.
Well, Jay, remind everybody one more time the details about the event, and we're going to do our best to make sure we have a reporter or two on site with you, because we're really, really stoked about what you're doing here.
We appreciate that, Chris. Thank you very much. It's July 2nd and 3rd at North Iowa Dragway in Humboldt, Iowa. We're going to have some qualifying and tuna test on Friday afternoon. We'll have another round of qualifying on Saturday morning, and then racing gets started about 2 o'clock. We'll be running 3 nitro classes, open fuel, pro fuel per the HDRA rules, nostalgia fuel, which is stock mounting cradle, no side-by-side rods. We've got 3 vintage gas classes. We've got a run what you brung class, and we've got a money bike ET class. It's $20 a day or $30 for a 2-day pass. We're 25 minutes from the Freedom Rally in Algona, Iowa, the Abate Freedom Rally. And we're doing our best to bring you a hell of a show. We'd like you to be a part of it. And if you got something you think that's fast, we got a place for you. Come hang out with us, burn up some fuel.
Right on, man. I appreciate you coming on tonight and sharing this with us, and especially taking us back a little bit. You know, when you were talking about the heritage of stuff and like the old A-Bait parties, you know, we were lucky enough to have one of the granddaddy of all-time A-Bait parties, Hazen, Pennsylvania, the PA state party, man. Like, God, I didn't know there was anything better in the world than that.
It was the throwdown, that's for sure.
So yeah, I'll tell you what though, it's really good to see some of this stuff coming from a place like you guys are doing it. So thank you so much, you and your whole team. Yes, sir.
We want everybody to know too, this ain't a hardcore old outlaw party, you know. I mean, it's a lot of hardcore old outlaws hanging out for the weekend, but it's kid friendly too. We've got a kids class. You know, we're trying really hard to be the ones that take this to the next generation, because we're all, you
absolutely,
know, none of us getting any younger, and we've all got a lot of old shit that we may not have people in our circle that understand and know what to do with. So we want to try to build that base up and bring some new minds into this. And
you know, one of the biggest things, man, is you got to remind people, yeah, it'd be nice to roll out there with $150,000 in motorcycle and race in the big flashy class, but you can have a lot of fun taking any piece of shit you have to the track and racing ET and, you know, getting involved and doing something. You know,
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Even through our rebirth at this, my wife and I have been hauling Daisy around with a $400 totaled out Tahoe and my car trailer and a couple friends and a couple cases of beer. I mean, we love that aspect of it. We've upgraded a little bit this year, and that's a little bit of a surprise we've got for our team this year. Nobody knows about it yet, but we're gonna roll in a little deeper than we usually do with the old junk Tahoe. So, but yeah, that's the truth. You know, it's guys showing up in vans. It's guys showing up with whatever they got and having a good time for the weekend. We've got guys like Bill Sherman and Jim Cervasius that did this stuff back in the 60s with XLRs. You know, I mean, Marv Jorgensen, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Pat Leahy, we just lost Pat. You can see his tribute poster up behind me, you know. These guys paved the way, and this is our way of saying thank you to them and making sure people don't forget about them.
Yes, sir. Well, right, man. Thank you so much for being on, and we look forward to getting some coverage from you guys, and anything you're doing, you make sure you hit us up with it, and we'll get you back on here.
Thank you guys for the bandwidth.
Yes, sir. All right, go check them out. Time like no other, day at the track. Like we just started the show telling you, Heather was out at High Point this week, and man, it doesn't matter if it's in the dirt, on the strip, going around in circles. Watching motorcycle race is not a bad day.
No. Good time. Good time.
Great way to spend a day.
Coming to the end of our track for tonight, but I want to remind you guys, we're coming to you live through the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Shop Talk goes live every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we do our best to keep you guys entertained for a little bit. We do that through the courtesy of a lot of people that make up the Source Media Network, and especially Chopper Town. If you guys haven't checked out Chopper Town, head over to Chopper Town's Facebook. Yes, the same people that made the movie The Sinners have an entire library of two-wheeled entertainment, everything from shows like this to full-length feature films. You can waste a whole afternoon there quite easily. Go check them out. Tell them that we sent you. We have a few events coming up that we want to remind you guys about. We already told you about the Shovelhead Reunion. Had a nice thing about that. Don't forget the Smokeout is coming up in September of 2022. Kind of closely connected to that. Our Ride-In Bike Show coming up in Sturgis. Sunday, August. Heather, it's too damn small. 8th. The FXR and Dyna Performance Bagger shows, August 28th and 29th. San Diego Customs, and Born Free. Gettysburg Bike Week right around the corner. Everyone's scrambling to get ready for this, July 8th and through the 11th.
Cycle Source Bike Show, mini bike races. Don't forget that.
Yes, ma'am. Good time out there. Our brother Tom Kiefer is going to be rolling out his newest build. Incredible. Oh my God, Milwaukee Mike Johnston. Do you see that text? That comment? Talk to Big Ben. It's in the works.
Oh boy.
I asked him.
What is in the works?
Oh,
wait a minute.
Somebody's
the last
going
time we
racing.
went around, it was not pretty.
No. Listen, the original Smokeout. One of the things that made it coolest was Big Ben used to bring his Peterbilt truck.
Yeah.
I know Big Ben's Peterbilt truck.
And he's.
Remember?
I asked Mike. I said, "Listen, please call Ben. Please get Ben to bring the truck."
Yes, sir. That's a crew that all needs to be in the same room.
Looks like Smokeout
is back.
Is going to have a big truck. Hey, did we mention that?
We're not going to have enough insurance for Ben's big truck.
Insurance.
Yeah, come on. What could happen?
What's the worst thing that could happen?
Now.
We rode through. So we knocked the bar down. Who cares?
No.
So, yeah, that's happening.
I bet. I bet.
Did we mention to you guys that Smokeout, when it comes back in 2022, is going to be at Salisbury at the original Rowan County Fairgrounds? So,
buddy.
In case you didn't know, I want to make sure I mention that one more time. Back to the events for a minute, damn it. I was trying to do my job here, Heather.
Well, we got a little carried away with fun stuff. There's no way for the man to hold us down.
Okay, so back to my job. The Georgia Grundle Run 5, September 17th through the 19th coming up. Run to the line in Sturgis. What did we say this was, the annual for us?
15?
14th?
No, this is 15th. 15th annual. 15 years we've been doing the annual. Oh, yeah, listen, Cherokee Rally. Mike Draco is mentioning the September 8th through the 11th. Do I have that right?
I believe so.
So September 8th through the 11th, the Cherokee Rally, and we have big news coming out about the Cherokee Rally. I can tell you that it's going to be a Chopper Town Live event, but a complete family Chopper Town Live. So a lot of people, the personalities from Chopper Town that you guys are used to watching, are going to be on hand with us, and we're doing a lot of stuff. And this week we're going to start rolling out that information, so stay tuned for that. What else can I get
If you
to?
guys have an event that you want to submit to us, you can go over to cyclesource.com, click the contact us button, and there is a submit event link.
Splitting Lanes hits the road.
So Splitting Lanes Dodging Gudges is moving to Long Tall Shorties this year. Pretty cool venue in Jersey.
The annual Vintage Motorcycle Day at the Iron Horse in Sturgis, August 9th. Monday, August 9th. Special parking for all vintage bikes. Show them your AMCA card and you get lunch on us. On the Black Hills Boogie, don't forget about that. Another event that I want to talk about is just left my mind, just like that.
Yeah,
I was thinking there's an event coming up that I need to make sure. Son of a bitch. And the worst thing is the mind's not the first thing to go.
Well,
Bonneville?
Can't remember what you're talking about.
Nope. It's not Bonneville. The Chase, right around the corner. Yep. The Chase is coming up. If you haven't checked that out, go to themotorcyclechase.com. Somebody please kill the damn dog. All right, man. Listen, we've held you guys up long enough. I want to tell you all, though, sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
And the dog's heart,
I'm going to
too.
mute Heather because it's killing me. The dogs are in the room with her. Rob reminds me that Wasion is coming up. Yeah, we'll get back to the other events as
Heather
soon
needs
as
to
I get
learn
my head out
sign
of my
language
ass.
so she can just stay on all the time.
Right. But yeah, like Heather said, if you guys want to get some events on here, send them to us. And I want to thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for tuning in all the time. You guys are making this a favorite for the industry, and we can't thank you enough. So with that,
on that note,
we're going to go back to building a shovelhead because the clock is ticking.
Son of a biscuit eater.
So until next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, same chopper time.
She should just lip sync it. Just lip sync it.
Is she not talking though?
Same chopper channel.
Well, on that note, bye, Felicia.